Welcome back to another season preview on SJHL.ca and across the SJHL social media platforms. And of course, all of our season previews and our coaches' conversations this season are presented by Saskatchewan Construction Safety Association. And of course, today is the final season preview, and we are pleased to be joined by the head coach and the general manager of the Battlefords North Stars, Brayden Klimosko. Brayden, thanks so much for taking the time to join us today. We really appreciate it. How's it going?
Thanks, man. I'm excited to be on here. Excited to get back at her. It's been a good summer, and yeah, looking forward to seeing you guys a little bit more here in the following months.
For sure. And it was a short summer for yourself and the rest of your staff with the Battlefords North Stars. And that's just because of the success you guys had, obviously, last season. So before we look ahead to this coming season, let's just reflect a little bit about last year. Obviously, kind of a storybook season for the Battlefords North Stars, a dominant regular season, winning the SJHL championship, going to the Centennial Cup, yes, falling a little bit short, but what an unbelievable season for yourself and your organization. Obviously, there must be a lot of fond memories when you look back at last year.
Yeah, there is. It was a special year and such a special group that we are able to, to be able to have, and it something you'll never forget. And I think finally, these last couple months, you're finally, it's all soaking in finally of what how special it really was, and yeah, how great the season ended up for us. So it was a great year. Obviously, yeah, it was something that you'll never forget.
Yeah, and a lot of great memories coming out of that season for obviously yourself, the coaching staff, but of course, all the players that are still with the North Stars and the players that have moved on. And of course, at the Centennial Cup, you were named CJHL Coach of the Year. I know we've done an interview talking about it, but again, I have to ask you, what did it mean to receive such a prestigious honor?
Yeah, it was obviously an honor of mine. Obviously, we've talked about it how Darcy and I got to coach a couple of years together, and got to know Mark a little bit as well as he rented my house. So being named to that was obviously a humbling award that I felt pretty honored to win, and was able to go on a pretty cool trip because of it. So all in all, it was a pretty special. A special spring for me and able to enjoy some of that as well as to get to recover afterwards. But it was yeah, it was pretty neat award to win for sure.
For sure. One final thing I just want to quickly touch on from last year before we look ahead to this season, but the fact that the Battlefords North Stars had 9 players earning, moving on to post-secondary schools, and also obviously helping Kian Bell get back to the QMJHL. What did it mean for you as an organization, and of course yourself personally, to help your players, move on to that next level, whether that be post-secondary or in Kian's case, back to the Q?
Yeah, I think that was probably more important for. I was telling our staff how much more important it was for us to make sure we moved some guys on to the Division 1 level than necessarily some team success. I think overall people were seeing some team success, but we weren't moving anyone on to that Division 1 rank. And obviously, once you get one, it seems like it kind of snowballs from there. So it was huge to get Jake kind of wrapped up first, which was fitting that he was my captain and everything like that, and for him to get earn one himself, and it just felt like there was a little bit of weight lifted off everyone's shoulders, and it just snowballed from there to obviously to Holden, to Josh, to Tynan and Cass. It worked out great, and even moving guys on like Matt Henry right out of fall camp, where he got a chance to go to Toronto development camp, and Kian to go back to the Q is great. And we potentially, well, we'll talk about it later about potentially losing a piece for this year up there as well. But yeah, it's all part of why we coach, and for you to have success is nice, but it's probably more important now to be moving kids on, because that's really why players play for you, is that chance to move on in their careers.
For sure. And the success that you guys have had as an organization, especially as of late, is definitely going to help you guys moving forward in doing that. So let's talk a little bit about, obviously, we mentioned, obviously, making the Centennial Cup. And as a result, you're playing into May. It is the shortest off season you could imagine, obviously, being one of two teams to be in the final game of Junior A hockey across the country. So for you, when you had your off season, it was a short one, but how was it for you when it comes to potentially filling out this roster for the 23-24 season?
And I think all coaches would say a lot of that work is done during the season now, anyways. Like, it's almost made it easier because of the fact that you kind of you have an understanding of what you're looking for the year after, and kids want commitments by May anyways. So a lot of that's done ahead of time. So it really makes the offseason a little bit easier in some aspects. Obviously, you you don't really know who's coming back or not coming back till after your final game type of thing, or into the a month after type, in a month after. But it gave us a kind of it wasn't overly much different, I would say, because of the fact that you're doing most of your signings into April or before that even. So it actually made it pretty easy for us.
Now, obviously, we've talked about a lot of your players that are graduating, moving on from the Battlefords North Stars organization. I mean, we were talking about in the previous chat we had about the amount of goals you guys will be losing out of your lineup this season. But maybe just talk to me a little bit about the rookie class coming in to the Battlefords North Stars organization and some of the new fresh faces that'll be suiting up at the Civic Center this year.
Yeah, there's obviously going to be lots. I think overall, I also think with the young guys, it's the guys that are returning that will get more of an opportunity than they've ever have. And I think you don't win a championship without everyone buying into their role and their system, and how they can contribute. And a lot of guys were played lot less limited roles than what they normally would on some other teams, potentially because of the fact that we had some really high end scores. So that's who I'm excited for, are your Bradley Blakes, your Jackson Allens, your those type of kids that will have a lot of chances to have some success, as well as some young guys. I there is so many of them. I don't even know. I don't really want to start because I'm going to miss someone that I shouldn't, and everything like that. I know that we have, a really good class, I think, coming in, as well as I like our returning, forwards, as well as and I think it's going to be a good opportunity for them to show what they're worth and give them an honest shot of being a player that feels like they're not far off from where we were last year. So it's a big list, and overall I think I'm excited about it, and it's going to be a totally new group, and it'll be lots of fun to coach.
For sure. You touched on the next question that I was going to ask, and it's about that group of returning players that you do have coming back from obviously winning an SJHL championship, experience at the Centennial Cup. How do you think that returning group can help mold this new group, which is a large one, moving forward into the type of Battleford North Star you want them to be moving forward?
Yeah, I really like our veteran group coming back. I think they're going to be great leaders in that dressing room. They know what it obviously takes. I think they're really excited and chomping at the bit. You got guys like you got Gold in the back end, Isaac and Rasker on the back end, as well as you got Blake, Waldy, Underhill, Allen, Griller. Hopefully I'm not missing any of the others that would, Light and Shields, guys that haven't, sometimes maybe not seen many minutes, will all get good opportunities here. And I think they're the ones that seem to be really excited about not only the challenge of losing all those guys, but having a good opportunity for themselves to, put their stamp on this hockey team.
So I guess after the year that you had, now going into this year, what are your expectations for your hockey club?
It's a great question. I think overall you don't really know until you get kind of into it. Like you play the game to win, and I think overall if someone tells you differently, I think they're lying to you. So obviously you want to make a good run. I know it's going to be a lot harder than probably maybe last year, but I hope that we have a team that's going to compete every night, get better. I think overall our expectations is moving guys on to the next level, have one of the harder working teams in the league, and see where it ends up at the end of the day. So I'm excited about it. It's it's a little bit of a different dynamic where there's a lot of unknowns, and there's a lot of unknowns for me too, which is cool about it. I think it's you go from last year, which we kind of had a sense of where we'd be at. This year is quite a bit different, which is lots of fun. So Battleford North Star fans and supporters, make sure you come out to see what we all have here. It's going to be exciting.
For sure. Well, Brayden, we always appreciate the time. Thanks so much for joining us, and best of luck in the 2023-2024 SJHL season.
Thanks so much.